All right, welcome back. We are already getting a taste of old man winter outside, and even though we are warming up this weekend, temps are expected to plunge over the next couple of weeks, and that could make your heating bill shoot right up.
Yeah, joining us now with how you can keep your energy bill down is Consumers Energy Senior Executive Director of Customer Experience, Brian Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate the time this morning.
You know, when we get into these cooler months, can you explain what happens to the energy grid and why we see those energy bills shoot right up?
Yeah, absolutely. It was 35 degrees when I woke up in Rockford, and as much as I would love to deny that winter is going to be here, it is here. So essentially what happens is 30% of your annualized energy bill comes from heating your home by itself. Another 15% just heating your water. So as temperatures go down and you try to maintain a steady temperature in your home, you're going to consume more gas and electricity, and you will see that proportionally increase your bill. But we have ways to save that we always love to call out to customers. So we appreciate the time this morning to share just a couple of those.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because you mentioned, we're not just heating our homes, we're heating the water, we're heating all of the other elements in our homes that do use energy. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're talking about this too, I mean, we all need heat. Once we hit winter, it's cold, it's kind of an inevitable. But what are some of those things that people can do to help kind of keep that energy cost down?
Absolutely. First and foremost, if you can have a trained professional check out your furnace and make sure that it's running in good order. The other thing you want to do that I'm sometimes negligent with is check your filter. If your filter gets clogged up, you might need to change it or clean it if you have a reusable filter, but that's a great way to reduce your energy strain on your furnace itself. And get a smart thermostat or at least a programmable thermostat. One of the things we hear from customers all the time is, look, I keep my house at 75 degrees year round. Why does my energy bill go up? Well, it goes up because you keep your thermostat at 75. You can't do that. You want to make sure you adjust it. Like when you leave, for example, that's the beauty of a smart or programmable thermostat is you can have times a day where you're not running your furnace as much, dropping those temperatures and waiting for those core hours where you actually need the heat in your home. So if you go to consumersenergy.com/winter, we've got more than 100 different ways you can save on your heating this winter.
Okay, I think it's really interesting you bring up the programmable thermostat. My parents have like that one with like the digital numbers on there that when they leave, it kind of brings the temperature, to a sustainable level to where like you're not using a lot of energy. So yeah, good tip there. What are some of the other essentials that you recommend people keep running versus some of the things that we might be able to just, turn off completely that won't harm the heat in our home or that will help us conserve energy here?
I think one of the smartest things our customers can do is reach out to us and schedule what we call a home energy analysis. We'll actually have somebody come in your house, or you can answer some questions as far as how you use your energy, and they'll give you real life tips on how you can change your energy use. So think of things that, I've procrastinated with for 10 years, like putting additional caulk around my window or maybe weather stripping where that started to take bear. But having a professional out there can certainly help. All customers can also go to consumersenergy.com/offers, and it'll ask you a couple of questions and give you offers in your area. And then if we have time, the other thing I'd love to share is maybe you fall behind on your bill and you need assistance. We have ways we can support in that realm as well.
Yeah, go ahead. Actually, we'd love to hear about those ways because I know that, costs in all things are going up in many different sectors of our lives. How can people take advantage of some of those things?
Absolutely. Affordability is, it's pinching everybody's wallet, regardless of what topic you're talking about right now. There's more than $265 million in energy assistance in the state of Michigan this year. So it's important that customers in need reach out and say that they're in need so that we can support them. We always point our customers first to 211. That's picking up your phone and just dialing 211. It's going to put you into county services and say what assistance is available in your area. Now, we know not all customers want to talk to somebody. It can sometimes be a little bit embarrassing or challenging to ask for help. So mi211.org is an online resource that'll share that as well. We also have a host of different assistance options, state, federal, company run, and you can find those at consumersenergy.com/assistance. Reach out as soon as you need help. Don't let those bills continue to cycle or pile. Make sure you reach out and we will get you the help that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, making sure too during the winter, especially once we get those really dramatic cold spells, that shutting off your furnace, maybe if you're leaving for a couple of days, of course, also isn't exactly a great thing. Can you kind of talk more about that and what that baseline heating level should be throughout the winter?
Absolutely. Now, I'm not an expert. What I always default to is at least 50 degrees. You want to make sure that you have some level of heat running through your home. If you don't, your pipes could freeze, and then the $100 or $50 you might save on your heating bill could turn into thousands in pipe restorations. So don't play that game. 55, 60 degrees, put it at a level where things will be sustainable and you don't have to worry about your pipes freezing. Very good and sound advice. Don't turn it all the way off. We're tempted to do that. The other problem is if you go to a baseline cold house and then have to reheat it, you're going to use a lot more energy than you would have needed to begin with. It's a great question.
Yeah, that is a really good answer, too. The other question that I've got is, I've heard a lot of people running their heating systems and fireplace at the same time. I've heard that that's not necessarily a good thing. Any advice on that?
I don't have any advice on that
Okay.
because I run my heating system and my gas fireplace at the same time. But what I can tell you will happen is one room will get very warm and the rest of the house will get very cold. So when you turn off that fireplace, your thermostat eventually has to catch up. So just be mindful of that. You're creating two different zones of heating. So I'm definitely not an expert in that area, but it's great sound advice. Be careful to overrun that fireplace because you can definitely have an overall impact on the core temperature of your home.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing, too, is, we see a lot of strain on the energy grid. Sometimes when we get those really dramatic winter weather storms that we all know and love here in the state of Michigan, right? Sometimes our power does go out. What's the best recommendation for folks when the power does go out and it is very cold outside?
I think first and foremost, make sure that you have a plan in place. So things like blankets, candles, flashlights, anything that you would need in case the power goes out. And get an idea from us of what your restoration time would be. We recommend that customers sign up for things like outage alerts. We'll be able to tell you when you can expect to have your power restored so that you can make a plan. If it's going to be, during some of these ice storms where we have more than a day's worth of outages, we know it's hard to kind of hunker down in home. So have a backup plan ready to go. In case that happens, our media team does a great job of sharing warming shelters in your area, but have a plan, stay informed, and we really recommend our customers sign up for our alerts.
Yeah, I definitely have them on my phone. So right here, ready to go whenever that does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of power, too, I know that a lot of people are going to start pulling out their space heaters as we're getting into these colder months. Do you have any advice to share on that, or maybe some really tips just to make sure that you're using those safely?
Well, if you're using any kind of a combustible fuel, make sure that you have proper ventilation. Generally speaking, they don't recommend that you run those in your home. If you do, make sure that it's ventilated. Otherwise, pretty nasty catastrophes could happen. And then the other thing is those space heaters, I know they're tempting. They draw a lot of electricity. So don't think you're going to be saving on your home's energy costs by using a space heater. Your furnace is generally going to be overall more efficient. So use those in balance with each other, just like the fireplace.
All right. Well, Brian Lewis with Consumers Energy, we really appreciate your time this morning. Anything we didn't ask you that you think would be important to share with the viewers as we kind of head into the bulk of the winter season here?
Just one more time, you can take control of your home's energy. Don't think you can't. And go to consumersenergy.com/winter on tips and tricks to maintain your energy bill. I appreciate the time this morning to speak to our customers.
Yeah, Brian, thank you very much. Okay, 8:35, we're back in a moment talking about your weather impact for the next couple of days as we head into the weekend after this.